Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sanderlanche podcast. Today, we are talking about chapters 6 through 9 of Dawnshard, the novella by Brandon Sanderson that fits right in between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War. In these chapters, there are attempts to stop the expedition, which we find out are coming from a source that I don't think anyone had theorized exactly. Although, I say that. Generally, we had it. I think it was the specifics that were throwing some people off. And we also make a scientific discovery. So that's always helpful. I'm Data, and with me today is...
Joe?
Jamie?
And Dak.
So hang on to something, everybody. The Sanderlanche is about to begin.
And maybe I'm a monster, but I am what you made. Those memories that hurt me will fly apart and fade. And maybe I'm a monster, but I don't give a damn. But maybe I am perfect, just the way I am. I don't wanna be.
So yeah, we did 4 more chapters here. That brings us to, I think, just about 50% of the way through, which makes sense because we got 4 episodes outlined for this one. So what did you guys think of these 4 chapters?
Man, I really am enjoying these shorter style stories by Brandon because we get answers pretty quick, right? So like, I knew there was something funky going on with her little manservant, and so getting confirmation of what is going on makes a little more sense. Lots of fun secrets, and we're left at the end of this kind of with like, why is she? What's Risen thinking that's making her mistrustful of our horn eater friend? So I'm interested to kind of get to the bottom of that because I feel like everybody's shooting pretty straight with Risen so far, except for like the Oathgate thing, right? Which, you could argue like, yeah, that probably wasn't the best way to handle that situation. You probably should have just told her like, also there's an Oathgate there possibly, and we want to know. But yeah, I'm excited to continue reading. We're getting a lot of interesting kind of like information about the sleepless guys, gods that don't sleep, whatever they're called. And so I'm excited about that.
That's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right? Like that's basically the same name.
Yeah.
But yeah, she seems to have, we don't know exactly what, like you said, she seems to have latched onto something at the end there to make her, to confirm, I guess, maybe these suspicions that Nickley is trying to.
Yeah. And maybe
she's
seeing through Nickley and like just, being coy about it. But I'm interested to know what she's thinking.
Yeah, that could be it too. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that's true. That's a possibility.
There's some nice moments as well with like Huio, getting to know like Huio actually is pretty smart, except he keeps taking stuff apart and then doesn't know how to put it back together. So and then making the scientific discovery, it's pretty fun stuff. Cool.
Yeah, it was interesting after the way that we've seen Huio before now to see that new sort of, when he's speaking his own language, you're like, oh, wow, that is very different. Okay. Good guy, Huio? I don't know how you're supposed to say his name. Brandon and the fantasy names,
Huey. Huey Lewis
Like
in the news.
Huey Lewis.
Working family.
Yeah, he just starts busting out. Don't take money, don't take fame.
So
Yeah. Great
He
song.
finishes repairing the span reed and just goes, "It's hip to be square."
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
And then he puts
dun.
out
Yeah,
the plastic and starts hacking away.
yeah, I'm really liking the story as well. I think the short format, it is nice to not be into this giant epic book. So yeah, I think it was a good call for a break, but nice. I think this is a nice way to ease us back into Stormlight. So I'm loving getting to know a little bit more about the side characters, like yes, Huio, Cord, even a little bit more of Lopin. Sorry, the Lopin. He's, sometimes adorable. He's annoying, but he's sometimes adorable. And yeah, I really liked having the conversation between the crab swarms. I thought that was pretty cool to see how they're all kind of like the hive mind of their own hive swarm, and then how they all connect and are able to communicate with each other even through distances. I thought that was really cool. I don't think we've really seen anything like that so far, so a little bit scary about what they can share. I mean, great for a spy network.
Right.
That's really cool. But yeah, it does obviously raise concerns about Nickley. Obviously not quite in for kill all humans as some of the others, which is probably a good thing for our characters. But yeah, I think definitely creating that wedge there between Risen and the Radiance. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what Risen. Well, she's asked for evidence, I guess. So she's coming off the back of Tress, who was really like can think about things and is quite logical. And as Hoyt was like, hey, took a moment to actually consider something before jumping in for action. I'm hoping we see a bit of that from Risen as well. But I mean, we're halfway through the book. Who knows what's about to go down? I like it though. It's a good story. It's nice to have it moving, getting the wheels turning. The crab people are weird. They scare me a bit. The crab people.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, it's good. Oh, the other thing I'm really liking as well is these bad omens and then how she's turning them around into a good omen. I've actually just really enjoyed I've got to figure out how to turn this around, put a positive spin on it. Maybe this is a good thing. Like it came to us, the Santhed, not because it wanted us to look after them. And just her ability to turn that around, I think, is really quite cool and quite clever.
Yeah, she's thinking on her feet really well, right? It is cool. I agree.
Yeah.
You pointed out we're halfway through the story now, and we're still on the ship, but these crab people are trying so hard to keep people away from the island, and we still don't know why. So there's we've solved the mystery of who was messing with the grain and whatever else, but we still got this mystery hanging over the whole thing, which is kind of interesting.
I thought we got a little bit of explanation. I thought we got a little bit of explanation from that with Nickley, though. It sounded like they were kind of they kind of got the short end of the stick with the Radiant stuff, and so they just don't want anything to do with humanity, like messing with their fabrial powers and stuff. Oh,
so you think it's just we're here, stay away?
Yeah, this is our this is our
my
stuff.
lawn.
Yeah, don't mess with our magic stuff. You're gonna screw everything up again.
Well, it does sound like they went through something pretty significant. I can't remember what they called it. The
scouring.
The scourging.
The scouring. Yeah. So yeah, maybe it had a pretty big impact. Having the Radiance back is not necessarily a good thing for them.
But one of these of one or more of these groups is, you remember the Sleepless are the ones writing the back of the books, so they've got some interest in what's going on for sure.
I did not remember that until you just said it.
So yeah, something happening, and maybe this is the time we finally get to find out a little more about what the heck is that it's all going on with them.
Yeah, fun, cool chapters. Much like in Edge Dancer, it's kind of like all the other stuff that went on just got driven from my mind by, yes, all right, Nickley is one of the these swarms, the Sleepless. So it's like, all right, Sleepless, everything else is off the table. I really want to know more about these guys. So fun little hints in there. The one that Lift met back in Edge Dancer apparently is not aligned with all the others, which is
sounds like it.
Fascinating. He's up to some more machinations of his own, and there's an oblique reference to the true traitors, which does that mean the Radiance? Does that mean someone else? I don't know. So confusing. But yeah, and just some of the stuff that it does with creating a Santhed corpse wholesale, which then when Risen tries to turn it around, the Nickley's just like, well, shit, and just the Santhed dissolves in front of their eyes. Everyone's like, what the fuck does that mean? But yeah, so I focus mainly on that because the Sleepless are fascinating to me. But there was definitely other good stuff in these chapters too. I feel like it makes sense because he can't really speak the language, but we've never really seen much of Huio besides just the whole Bridge 4 joke before. So it's when he's talking in his home language, his native language, he's actually quite eloquent and very clever. So I'm like, oh, cool. Nice to see some more of this. And a bit of the same for Cord, even though we saw Rock's family show up in the last book, but we never really got to meet much of them beyond that. So it's nice to see at least one of those members getting fleshed out a bit and how she operates. Cord seems pretty cool. The Lopen trying to hit on her nonstop, which is a bit, oh, here we go again. But yeah, no, like good stuff in these chapters. I'm enjoying how this is all playing out. I like the pace that this is all moving at. I agree. I think this is a good way to ease us back into Stormlight with a maybe not so much lighter tale, but definitely a fast-paced one.
Yeah. Well, and I like you mentioned the Xanthid thing again, because somebody, I don't remember if it was Jamie or you, somebody last time called the Sleepless could use their weirdness to make some pretty freaky things happen. And then pretty much immediately, that's exactly what they tried. So that was a good call by somebody. But yeah, this is definitely, it's a novella. It's a quicker story than the big Stormlight thing. So hopefully we're easing into it a little more. And I'll use the opportunity to mention that I have completed the Stormlight Jeopardy game that we're going to use to review before we go into Rhythm of War. So
oh man,
here in a couple weeks we'll play that. I'm gonna try to set it up so I can record like the board as we're playing, and then I can upload to YouTube a version that's just that's the video and the audio, I should say, as opposed to the podcast version, which is the audio. So it can be fun.
I'm also prepared to fail.
On the topic, I guess I'll also mention that I've been talking about, like, should we do the King Lopen Elsecaller stuff next, or should we wait? And my main concern was how many of the people listening have been able to get a copy and read it? And I was kind of like going back and forth with myself, like, I don't know what. And I realized there's no way for me to know. I'm 100% guessing if I try to pick. Well, does our audience, have they read this? Have they not read this? So I was like, well, maybe it's much smarter to just ask people. And so I put a poll on our Patreon. What do you guys want to see us, have you read this? Do you want us to cover this next? I think there were 4 options on the poll. It was like, I've read those and I want you to cover them next. I've read them, but I don't want you to cover them next. And then I haven't read them. You should skip it. I haven't read them, but you should do it anyway. And so right now, I put it up yesterday, I think. And right now, over 50% have picked, I haven't read them and I think you should skip them for right now. So unless that changes drastically, I think that's probably what we will go with, is we'll wait on Elsecaller and King Lopen, and we'll move into Rhythm of War after we have our review episode.
Okay.
So thank you, audience, patrons, for contributing. I was just like, no, obviously, I should just ask people if they've read them or not, as opposed to just trying to guess. I don't know how I took weeks not thinking of that, but there you go.
Having said that, though, are we just going to encounter that problem whenever we try and read those books?
It's possible, but I think the longer we wait, hopefully the less that problem will crop up. So maybe after Rhythm of War, that'll be another. How long is Rhythm of War going to be? 38 episodes.
Yikes.
It's likely that we'll do at least one of those secret projects after that. So before we go to the next one. So yeah, it'll be a while before we hit this issue again. And hopefully by then, maybe that'll have changed. They could have released a digital version or an audio version or whatever by then,
Yeah, true.
Might be a good way to do like we did now, a secret project, and then sort of just ease back into Stormlight in a small chunk. And so then our listeners aren't like losing a whole chunk now, because then we've diverted from keep wanting to say Sanderlanche. That's us, podcast Sanderlanche. In case you weren't sure what you were listening to, but Stormlight, if you have the gap too long, we may lose momentum with some people. So maybe
that's true.
That would be better.
We should have Jamie brings up another good point. We should have like line breaks in the show where we just say, by the way, you're listening to the Sanderlanche.
How many episodes are we up to? 200 and something? 300?
Yes.
I don't know what we're up to.
200 and hold on. What's next week's will be 280. So yeah.
There you go. 280 episodes, and now we've decided to put
in case after all
that
you
you're already
weren't
listening to.
In case it was unclear. We are
Here we are.
Sanderlanche.
Here we are 6 years later to remind you that.
It's the Sanderlanche.
If you're not listening to the Sanderlanche, you should probably
If you're listening to this and you don't think you're listening to the Sanderlanche,
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're not listening to the Sanderlanche, but you hear this, I'm sorry to
You
break it
are
to
listening.
but you
Yeah,
are
I'm
listening
sorry.
to the Sanderlanche.
you were mistaken. You're listening to it.
You're wrong. I hate to break it to you.
You
Oh,
should
man.
check your priorities and figure out what you're doing with your life because you're listening to the Sanderlanche.
If you've never listened to the Sandwich before, well, you are now.
Yes, you
Yeah.
have.
If you thought you were a
Yes, you have.
Sanderlanche virgin, no longer.
Oh man. Okay. Let's
We
move into
digress.
these chapters. Man. Oh gosh. Okay. So at the end of the last section, it was like the captain was like, "Come and see. We've got dark soul casting at work." And so this one starts with Cord revealing that their grain is filled with worms. And the problem is, as we continue, we find out the problem is it's not just a barrel that's full of worms. It is every barrel. It's not just the most recently loaded barrels that had worms in them. Barrels that have been on the ship for a while that did not have any worms suddenly have worms in them. Barrels that we looked through yesterday and did not have worms in them now have worms in them. Lots of worms. So, like this is not just some sort of fluke. There's something weird happening here.
Yeah. So do we think, now that we've kind of got more background, do we think that Nickley had the worms, or are they the sleepless pretending to be worms? Because then I feel bad for those traders that like wanted the worms.
Right? I wonder
Oh,
the same
yeah.
thing.
Like, did he actually have a bunch of worms? If so, where did he get the worms?
We should keep those worms. Yeah. I mean, he knew they were getting on a ship and that worms in the grain would be bad for the ship. So it's possible he just brought a lot with him.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or had one of his sleepless buddies deliver a shipment of worms like Amazon
Yeah.
Prime.
I also like how their two plans were kill the pet to make it seem like a bad omen and worms. And then they were like, oh, we've exhausted every plan.
Completely out of ideas.
Just like we all our machinations have failed. Killing a pet and worms. We
Used
have
every
to
arrow
kill
in the
them
now.
quiver. And
Our whole culture depends on them not coming to our island. Oh, no, twice. We've tried twice, guys. It's done.
we're done. Just kill him.
Maybe because they when Nickley talks and they talk about the fact that you're the only one who's like really good at dealing with humans these days. So it's like he's like suggesting all these ideas, and it's like, no, young one, you know not what you speak of, but you also know humans the best out of all of us. So maybe we should actually listen to you.
Yeah. Also, it's like, I just imagine them being like, do you know how much those worms cost? Like, we can't keep spending money on worms.
they keep
Your
calling
budget's about to get cut, Nickley.
they keep calling it dark soul casting, and I was like, I'm thinking like, does Nickley have a soul caster? Can you create like life with the soul caster? That seems like something we would know about.
I think that was what I assumed, because like my prediction last week was that they have the soul caster that Smoke Girl left behind.
Mm-hmm.
But then as they went on and like the conversation with Nickley seemed to indicate, no, maybe they don't have it. And I didn't really go back to, then how are the worms there? Because I assumed they were soul cast. But you're right, like, I don't think you can create life with soul casting. That would seem like it's...
Unless that's what dark soul casting is. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Rizen's response is spontaneous genesis has been disproven multiple times, Armsman. This didn't happen because there's a dark soul caster on board. So, all right.
I mean, it sounds like she's answering our questions. Like,
It kind of does.
It's
yeah.
been disproven. Like, you can't create life spontaneously.
And then they're like, okay, can we keep this quiet? How much of the crew knows? And dude's like, all of the crew. And Cord's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
I didn't know it
like,
was a secret, man.
I just asked around.
Oh,
I just raised the alarm.
Everybody knows. Oh, so it's not a secret. No. Why am I the last to know? That's a good question.
I like that Lopin's like, I mean, I could just fly out and get some more grain. It's not that big a deal. And they're like, no, you don't understand. There's the superstition among the sailors is an important aspect that we can't ignore here.
Honestly, it's amazing they managed to get anywhere. If they're that superstitious, like all the things that could go wrong when you're out at sea. It's like, really, guys, why are you sailors? This is not the career path for you.
I think even on our world, sailors are famously superstitious, but That
Mm.
I agree that they do. It makes it sound like, oh, they're going to mutiny because two things happened. Like, okay,
Well, I mean, the others
calm
going to
down
give
a
up
little
because
bit.
they tried twice, so maybe twice is a little bit longer.
Yeah, maybe
Just imagine
maybe Nickley and the Sleepless knew the sailors better than I do. It's like, we tried two things. Normally that works.
two is always the charm. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. But thankfully, Risen studied under one of the best traders around, because she's run into a similar situation before where they have all this wormy grain, and what are we going to do with it? We're going to have a detour. And there's
They
these
were really
nomads.
fortunate to be in the same area.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a plot or something.
Well, and to be fair, I think it tells us that there were several groups that
Yeah.
were willing to take this. This was just the ones that they happened to be close to.
Yeah.
But yes, they find some nomads that they like. So they can't eat meat, but they don't consider bugs to be meat. Bugs are plants, not animals. So they will happily
Somehow.
trade for fresh, juicy worms.
I mean, by that logic, I feel like crabs could be plants. Crabs are basically bugs.
In my mind, it's something about, like, the bugs get into the plants, and then you open a plant, and hey, there's bugs in here. They must have grown in here. I don't.
I guess
I'm
that
not going to
makes
question
sense.
Why aren't you questioning it?
It's a bunch of nomads. Who knows what
Yeah.
their particular belief system is? I'm not gonna,
Yeah. People in fantasy believe strange things. Look at these sailors and their superstitions.
It's true.
true.
Also, look at these weird things made out of crabs.
Yeah.
And so, not only do they trade for a stock of jerky, which is replacing the food that we're losing with new food, but they even get like gifts because of what a respectful trader Risen is of their culture and language and stuff.
Bunch of blankets. Hopefully, they don't have smallpox.
And they make sure that all of the sailors are on deck to see this, because this, in this culture, in this superstition of the passions, is how you combat this sort of thing. You take the bad thing that happened and turn it into a good thing, reverse the omen, turn it into a good passion or whatever. So she wanted to make sure the whole crew sees her do it, so that they're like, oh, okay, hey, this is good. We're not going to mutiny now. All right.
Not so
That was
bad.
all it took. Man, these guys are fickle.
You think they need a second example of that?
Yeah, right. Maybe that's why they're not totally on board yet. They haven't seen this a second time. So
Yeah.
and we find out that Nickley even followed her advice and has made some friends among the sailors by letting them, haze him a little bit, which seems nice until shortly after this, when we find out Nickley is the traitor, and it's like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't wish as many good things for him now.
I'm going to leave crabs in all their hammocks tonight.
And also, it explains the tattoos, which is a whole thing that gets called out. Like, oh, I have all these weird tattoos. Oh, no, they're not tattoos. Those are the lines between the crabs. Okay. Should have seen that coming.
Oh, it creeps me out. It does. The scuffling.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
I guarantee they don't go whoop 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 as they're scuttling over.
Yeah,
They
that
could
would
make
be
one that
endearing.
went whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but like,
Which
can
one do you
imagine,
reckon it's the first swarm?
He's also a doctor,
no,
but
it's
he's not
it's,
very good with robots.
it's got to be the one from Edge Dancer, Arco, who did it, and that's why the rest kicked him out.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. He's just bad at his job, and they're like, get out of here, man. You're giving us all a bad name.
Yeah. I thought you were the robot. No, human. Spare me your life story.
We get a brief discussion of, like, what do you do when someone you trust turns against you? And she's like, yeah, Vistum had a saying, always read contracts with your friends in extra time, because those are the people who can stab you in the back, is the people you trust. So, just take an extra look, just in case.
I never realized it before, but this whole thing that Nickley's saying is like, I was betrayed by someone I trusted. And I'm like, oh, is he talking about Arco here?
Yeah, I'm still not clear on, even after we know who Nickley is, I'm like, I wonder who he was betrayed by. And then Nickley starts to try to drop in some little seeds of distrust. Like, hey, that Horn Eater's the one who found the worms, right? Maybe they're behind this. And those Radiants, they can't explain why she's on the voyage. But no, I probably shouldn't have said anything. I'm gonna go to the head. I'll see you later. And then Nickley goes into the head and falls apart into a pile of crabs or something, which is just like, no, I see why
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Not only that, Nickley is
I
very
understand.
proud of the crabs that he has that look like human eyes and work as human eyes. It's like, yep, a lot of sleepless use fake eyes, but I got some real crab eyes.
Yeah, look at me.
I traded it for I traded to a Kandra for the
Yeah,
Ulans. It's like, yay!
one's blue, one's green. It's great. Yeah. So Nickley's name, I guess, is Nicklea and Nickley is talking to Al how with the door.
Yeah, why don't we just skip it? Say like he's
Al.
talking to this guy.
Talking to Al, yeah. And some other ones. We're communicating with a bunch of different ones at the same time. We got Yella Mazin, but it's the other ones are like, hey, they're not responding to your encouragements to turn back. You failed. It's like, no, the problem's not that. The problem is that I'm coming to like them. It's like, well, yeah, no, it's good that you like them. I like the bondsmith, for example, though I know he will destroy us.
How do you know that? What's going on?
They don't even agree about that much because Zyardil is like, well, he's made the decision of honor. He might not destroy us. It's like, no, that's why he's going to destroy us.
You guys all have names that sound like medicine.
Right? Yeah.
There's no I in Timo Sil, at least not where you think.
I assume it's in the ill part at the end, but
Yes, but it's a show. It's a joke from Arrested Development, the show. Because there's no I in Timo Sil, at least not where you'd think, because it's no I in team.
okay, I see what you're
Yeah.
So they're like, no, it's good that you like them. It helps you, become more like them, hide as them better. We should have compassion for those we must cull. It's like, but do we have to cull them? It's like, yeah, humans are a fire that must be contained. You weren't yet separated during the scouring. You don't understand. It's like, oh, this is all a big mess. We should just kill them.
I call that one Angry Al.
As it sounds like they did not intend for that ship to be found because Zyardil's like, well, they shouldn't have found that ship and this wouldn't have started. And Al is over here like, it was going to sink. It could not have survived the storms without help. The discovery was not a coincidence. So someone else is out here influencing things in the other direction.
But
they're
who
like,
and why?
Arklow crosses us again. It meddles more and more. It has met with the new radiance. And Nickley's like, well, I mean, is that a bad idea? Maybe that's smart. No, you're young. You don't understand. You'll learn. Arklow is dangerous, but not as dangerous as the true traitors. Which, so as somebody pointed out, like, wait, what?
Ominous.
No, both are equally dangerous, says Yell.
For a hive mind, these guys really don't think alike.
I really don't.
Al says, my plan's the best. Let them breach the storm. So I guess Al wants to kill them after that? Like last time? And Yell Mazin is like, no, we got to stop them from breaching the storms. Yeah, there's a lot of disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
But on the plus side, they are very democratic about it, where they're like, okay, we disagree. Let's all vote. All 20 that still accept the leadership of the first gets to vote on what do we do with the ship. Half say let them reach the storm. Half want to kill them right now before the storm. And a bunch abstain. And then Nickley has an idea. Like, I have another idea. I think this is going to work. But I need some help. And so they take another vote. And they're like, yeah, let's do that plan. Why not? It hurts us to kill Radiance, let alone one of the sighted. Which I guess is Cord, because she can see all Spren. I'm assuming that's what the sighted means.
That makes sense.
You may try this plan. If it fails, however, I will hold another vote. And you must be willing to take more drastic measures. So, all right. Third time's the charm, right? Second time was not the charm. Maybe third time.
Oh my god, we're trying the dreaded third thing.
Yeah. Who would have thought it would come to this? A third idea.
And so I like that we cut to Lopin, who's just floating around by Cord while she's cooking. Which we find out later is because he's trying to impress her.
And I also like how she knows that, kind of. He's like, I think he's trying to impress me or something, but whatever.
It's like, it's dumb, but what are you gonna do?
He's the Lopin. What are you gonna do?
And she's putting seaweed into something, and he's like, who eats weeds? Aren't they supposed to eat shells? What's going on here? And he's like, is there something weird about the crew to you, Cord? And the crew's like, or Cord's like, what? Strange? The crew? Like, yeah. And she just like, you guys are all strange.
Including you. I know you're trying to impress me, but you're strange.
Well, and Lopin's like, as long as I'm the strangest. And you are very strange. He goes, excellent. She goes, very much strange. Like, she needs to emphasize, like, no, you're extra strange, my dude.
Don't worry about it. If you want to be the strangest, you're there.
And so they've now reached the halfway point of the journey. And while things had been better after selling that grain, stuff is getting weird again. Huio flies in. He's got some letters and some other stuff that he's brought. And Lopin's like, hey, Huio, has the crew been treating you strangely? And he's like, no, sure. Not sure, Lopin says. He's like, yeah, that, not sure. And he's got a box of span reeds for Rushu and some aluminum foil. And Lopin says, yeah, aluminum, that's weird stuff. Can block a shard blade, Ruwa tells me, if it's thick enough. And Cord says, oh yeah, we get that in the peaks by trading with people in the Spren world. So I guess people come through the perpendicularity from other planets and trade aluminum. Interesting.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And she talks about how she misses home. And Lopin's like, I mean, a Windrunner could fly you up there. It wouldn't be that big a deal. But she's kind of enjoying herself out in the world now. It's dangerous out here, but that's kind of exciting for her. She's discovered that she sort of likes the danger. I did not know this, she says. And then as Lopin talks to her, he's like, was she impressed by how casually I'm floating? No way to know without pointing it out, which was the opposite of being casual. So,
yeah, he's like, I can't say how awesome I am at floating. That would not be breezy. I gotta be breezy.
Exactly. He can't say he's breezy.
Also, he's like, man, I've stuck Huio to the wall for her heaps of times, and I don't think she's like, it hasn't impressed her as much as it should have.
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed the first time I stuck something to a wall.
And we also get a little bit about Rock. And Lopin's like, hey, your dad, is he really in danger because of what he did, where he killed Amaram to save Kaladin? And she goes, yes, but because of him, his doing, his wanting, which does not make sense to me.
I think what she's saying is because he desired to do it to save Kaladin, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
she's
it was an intentional act. It was not like, it wasn't happenstance. He was off from the distance and chose to do it.
Yeah, and he wasn't ordered to do it by somebody, and then he had to do it. He did it on his own, like, accord.
Yeah.
And then she says, his choice to go back, his choice to ask for, I don't know the word. And Lopin's like, judgment? And she, yeah, maybe. Do not be afraid for my father, Lopin. He will choose his choice.
So Rock's going back to the peaks?
That's what it sounds like, and it sounds like things may not go great for him when he gets there.
Man, this is fucking Tensoon all over again. It's like, oh, I killed someone I shouldn't have, so I need to go back to my people for judgment. And they locked him in a hole with an acid bath.
Oh, they did. That's right.
Rock, stay out of the hole with the acid.
Don't let them get you in a hole, my man.
Actually, it's Rock. They'll probably lock him in a hole with some bad cooking. That'll kill him.
He's like, no, where are the spices? Where are the shells?
And she points out that she sees a bunch of Spren around, but the weird ones are the Luck Spren, which she has to draw a picture of it. She doesn't know the word for them. He's like, oh, Luck Spren, huh? And she's like, yeah, more showing up every day. And then he goes back to his cabin where instead of having delivered the span reeds to Rushu, Huio has completely disassembled one of them. And finally, we get a Huio in Herdazian where he can actually talk. And he's like, Lopin, this aluminum has fascinating properties. I believe the captive Spren are reacting to its presence, almost like prey to a predator. And, cuz those span reeds are way more valuable than the locks you used to break apart. You could get into trouble. It's like, perhaps, but I'm certain I can reassemble it. The Ardent Lady will be completely unaware of my investigation. So yeah, it's amazing the difference that it makes being back in his actual language.
Yeah. Although it sounds like he fails quite often at doing the thing he's trying to do.
Yeah, yep. Because he's like, how many clocks of the clocks that you've taken apart did you manage to put back together? And he's like, well, there was the one time.
Yeah, that one clock I put back together.
I think it was a Modern Family joke where Sofia Vergara's character was like Ed O'Neill was having a bit of a joke because she didn't know the right words in English, and she just went like, do you know how smart I am in my own language? I'm trying to like meet you on your terms here. And like that's what this bit with Huio reminded me of. It's like, wow, he really is like, very eloquent in his native tongue.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Yeah, this woman's like, hey, how much of my language do you speak, jackass? So maybe back off.
Yeah.
But I like the note that Lopin is trying to explain why he feels things are weird. He's like, everything's just off lately, you know? And Huey is like, oddly, though everyone always expects me to be able to decipher what you're saying, I find myself at a loss most of the time. It's good to know even Huey can't figure out what the hell Lopin is on about.
It brings a new light to like all those times where he shares his joke with Huio, and Huio's like, okay, man. Cool. Everyone's like, oh, Huio thinks it's so funny. Well, maybe Huio thinks he's a bit of an idiot.
Like, oh, Lopin, shut your mouth.
I mean, if it was your cousin and he was around all the time like that, you probably would be like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
So here's the comparison now. The Lopin is Jay and Huio is Silent Bob.
Yeah. I think that's
Like
actually
it.
a really good comparison, yeah.
Yep.
And I feel like it's a dig that Lopin makes. It's like, hey, you know, Cord's getting real good with her Alethi. And Huio's like, good for her. Maybe she can learn her Dazian next, and then someone will finally interpret for me when I'm lost. Like, you are so not helpful, cousin. And Lopin's like, oh, you'll pick it up eventually, older cousin. You're sure the smartest person in our family. So that's... Apparently, it says Alethi has just never clicked for Huio, which is a shame. You know, languages are tough sometimes.
Yeah.
So eventually, after Lopin has some introspection about how, like, the world ended but didn't end, and there's Voidbringers, but they're not Voidbringers, and, like, shouldn't everything just be more dramatic? Huio's like, see, it has been returned identically to its previous state about the spanner he put back together. It's like, does it still write? And then Huio makes some motions with it, and the other half makes some motions, but they only match, like, laterally, not up, not back and forth. So it's like, oh no. And Lopin goes, you person who has rotten fruit for a head, you broke it. Which I assume is some specific Herdazian insult that's like a word, but translating it makes it weird.
What has science done?
Now I'm going to have to tell Boss Ardent Lady, and she will say, Lopin, I can see you are very careful and often not breaking things, but I'd still rather your older cousin did not have rotten fruit inside his skull instead of brains. And I will agree.
And I will agree.
I love, it is, maybe these are the parts that remind me, like somebody was talking last time about Lopin feels like Lewis, where he's predicting conversations that he will have or explaining conversations that he already had in a way that, like, no one else does these things. It's like, let me tell you exactly what the conversation I'm about to have is going to be like, and couch an insult to you in the middle of it. And Huio's like, I mean, they have a bunch of these. It'll probably be fine. And the chapter ends with them that they're going to go and, you know, admit what happened. Oh, also we find out that, I should note, both of them and Punio, the other of Lopin's cousins who's still in Bridge 4, there was another one who died. But in fact, Rod, I think, who's mentioned in the same paragraph as the other one. But they give most of their pay to their family to help out with their poorer cousins. Radiants were paid well, but there were a lot of cousins who needed help. It's just their way. When Lopin had been the poor one, they'd always helped him. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting cultural thing. It also makes a little more sense why he was so happy all the time, even when he was in a dire situation. It's like, it's okay. My family still takes care of me.
Yeah, he's got family looking out for him. I mean, not in the middle of a bridge run necessarily, but he never actually had to run one of those bridges, I don't think.
No.
So it's okay.
See, he's fine, Gancho. Don't worry about it.
And the chapter ends with them going up on deck, and everyone's looking off the starboard side, and there's a big something out there. And that something was very dead. Which doesn't sound great, but yeah. So what it is there is a Xanthid corpse that has floated right up to their ship. And this is like the omen of omens now, because Xanthids are considered like divine almost by sailors. This is like somebody shooting the albatross, essentially. And so she's like, I mean, what is the explanation for this? Risen is trying to think, like, nobody could have planted this. How do you'd have to get a Xanthid and kill it and send it directly to us in the middle of the ocean. This is insane.
There's too much to have had to have happened for this to be deliberate.
Yeah.
Unless.
And one of the sailors is like, I mean, we're definitely turning back now, right? No way we continue after this. And it wasn't even a question. Everyone's just like, oh, yeah, for sure. Even the captain doesn't argue with this, because arguing would just invite mutiny. And so Risen tries to poke some holes in it. Like, why is it floating? Shouldn't it have sunk after it died? And so he's like, no, like, corpses float all the time. And she's thinking like, okay, maybe there's something else. This could be like enemy light weaving or a soul cast dummy, or it could be lots of things, right? And so she decides she needs to turn this around again. It's like, okay, well, let's bring the corpse, tow it behind us. And they're like, what? No, we can't profit by selling the shell. She's like, what? No, of course not. What do you think I am? We're going to give the creature a proper funeral. It must have been the beast's will. It came and found us in the middle of the ocean. It's really lucky, actually, that we were here. Look at the gouges. Someone killed this thing. It's like, yeah, it's bad luck to kill a Xanthid, which we did not do. Someone else did, and they got the bad luck. We're just the ones who it trusted enough to care for its corpse. This is a good omen. It came to us intentionally, a sign that we are trusted. And it's like she's hiding her uncertainty as she's like, this is a shot that she's taking. Like, come on, pick it up. And so slowly the sailor's like, yeah, she's right. We consider it a good sign when one washes up on shore. Why would this be different?
Yeah, she's thinking here.
And we need to spread the word that someone's out there killing Xanthids. It wanted us to find it so the news could be spread.
Good job, Risen.
And the captain is like considering for a while and is eventually like, you know what? I think, yes, I agree that I see a good omen in this. And they grab the hooks to pull it in and tow it. And when they try, it falls apart into tiny crabs. Right in front of their eyes, it breaks into hundreds of pieces, little kremlings, and swarms into the water. And then everyone's like, well, what kind of fucking omen was that? Is that good? Is that bad? Like, what the hell? How do we fit this into our superstitions? Which, fair. You weren't expecting that shit. Yeah, I know.
Yes, if no one killed the Xanthid, so there's no bad luck. So that's a good thing. But then we turn that into good luck. So if the Xanthid doesn't exist, the good luck doesn't exist because the Xanthid didn't come to find us because it doesn't exist. What the fuck?
Yeah, it would be hard to wrap your brain around.
It's like some of the crew come to her later. It's like, we need your wisdom. Is this good luck or bad luck? And she's like, are you going to tell the rest of the crew? No, I've got no fucking idea.
She just needs to default. Like, it's clearly good luck. I haven't come up with the explanation for how it's good luck, but it 100% is. Just trust me. It's fine.
Yeah.
And in chapter 9, we cut to Risen. They're sitting in a cove where they're camping, I guess. They got some fires going, Lopin's down there telling some stories. So what they decided was, we'll land on shore and burn some prayers in honor of the Xanthid. Also break out a few kegs of special Thalen ale.
Everyone needs a drink after that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And she's been talking to Vistum via Spanreed, who says, yeah, the Alethi have been keeping a secret, though Queen Fen knew about it. There's an oath gate, or there once was an oath gate in Akina, and they're not sure what the status is of it. They may not even they don't want the enemy controlling the oath gate, but what they want to do about it, it's not even clear. The Radiants are there to find out if it's still there, is it operational, all that stuff. And I like that he's like, by the way, I told them that I don't appreciate a friend of mine getting sent out like without all the information. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm his friend? This is amazing. Good for you, Risen. But also, she's like, did you find any information about the weird disintegrating Xanthid? And he's like, yeah, no. It sounds like some of the old stories about Amiens, though. And she's like, what, that they could take off their arms and legs? I met one of them on that expedition where I had my accident, and he seemed very different from what we experienced. Which, hey, we remember that.
Yeah, the collector.
The mighty one.
Mm.
Good guy Axes was hanging out on the island, imprisoned or being hung from a tree or
That
something.
was yeah, hanging out. Yeah, good pun there.
Yeah, just hanging out. It's like, what are you doing, Axes? Just hanging around,
And
hanging in there.
They spoke with Yasna Kolin, who said that she thought it was weird and that there were once two kinds of Amiens. One, the kind that you saw with the blue skin and stuff. And a few of those are still running around Roshar. But there's old stories about creatures who were living heaps of kremlings that would grow in attics of buildings and then devour the occupants. And like Yasna's like, look, that pretty much always thought of that as just like a story. But more recently, we've begun hearing reports of similar things from credible sources. We may be talking about Lift.
I was going to say, it's like, that's got to be Lift, right?
I don't know that I'd consider Lift a 100% credible source necessarily, but
No, but I feel like Yasna is the sort of person who, like, Lift would tell this story to everyone and everyone would write it off out of hand. But Yasna would be in the corner, just like, hang on. You keep talking. Come here, keep talking.
Because Yasna knows the older stories, and she's like, it's weird that this kid would have something so similar to. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like this kid who has never like stayed in the same place more than 3 days in her life. How does she know this story? There's got to be something more to this.
Yeah, and then Risen suggests, like, hey, what if it was like one of those bad guys who can create an illusion? And he's like, oh, actually, that's an interesting. Here, let me talk to you. I got a span read to Yasna right here. Let me talk to her. And he says, yeah, Yasna agrees with your theory, saying, of course, that is an astute observation. I should have seen the possibility. Compliment your ship owner from me. And he says, like, look, from this woman, I'm pretty sure that's really high praise, Risen. So you're making a good name for yourself in high places at this point. Because, yeah, Yasna is now queen of Alethkar, even though they don't really have an Alethkar as such to rule over.
Yeah, I'm the queen of, a city that's been overtaken by our enemy, but, I am still the queen.
They still got the country. It's just a war-torn country right now.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of the country they actually control.
Yeah.
They lost the capital and a few other cities and towns, but they've still got the shit bits no one wants.
Yeah, they've got Yasna, the Bright Queen, and Crystal Queen, whatever her name is.
Last we saw, I guess Kaladin's family's little town was fine. So yeah.
Well, what's the go with Crystal Queen with like Elhakar's wife? Because didn't Amaram wind up using the same?
He did, which makes me assume that she's dead. But
how would she be dead?
Well, because she took in the gemstone with the unmade in it, which we were told that unmade like consumes the souls or something of those that it.
Yeah,
I forget exactly.
Amaram had it,
and then Amaram showed up with the same one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like whether she's dead or alive, she doesn't have that gem anymore. That's fact.
And the gemstones gradually were overtaking Amaram's body during that battle. So if she went through the same thing, she may not be around.
Yeah.
Probably for the best.
Crystal Queen.
You're not.
Yeah, not the greatest loss.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't get to know her very well, though.
That's true.
Like, was she always that crazy?
So, I mean,
Yasna wanted to assassinate her.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll probably get her in flashbacks or something in one of the next books.
Maybe. Yeah. If you trust Yasna's opinion on
don't listen to Data. Maybe.
Well,
he knows.
There's still 5 Stormlight books that haven't been written yet. So even if it hasn't been in one of the next 2, it could be in any of those, and I would not know. Anyway, he tells her, be careful. And if you decide it's right to turn back, just do it. Don't worry about what anyone else is going to say. You have to lead this mission according to your own wisdom. Which that's some real trust coming from the guy that she used to be apprenticed to. And here comes Nickley hey, it sounds like the food's ready. I want to know if Cord's stew is better than mine. I'm going to go get me some. Which, was it mentioned before that Nickley cooks? Because somebody theorized, maybe the guy was gonna, the spy was going to try to take over as the cook, on the previous journey, but Cord beat them to it. And so it really does sound like maybe that's exactly what was Nickley's plan.
Yeah, maybe he was the cook guy.
Yeah. It's like they're going to have a cook-off. It's like, what's the Roshar and new cooking show, Shardblade Chef or something.
That could be fun.
Iron Chef Bendery! Yeah, Shardblade Chef, that would be fun.
Yeah, except it'll end horribly because, Nickley poisons everyone.
Right, yeah. All the judges are dead, and it's I guess I win.
Last one standing.
Yeah. By the way, I'd like to take this time to remind everyone you're listening to the Sanderlanche.
So Risen is trying to poke Nickley for some more information about Nickley's home, which is close to Amia. And it's a lot of survivors of the Scouring settled nearby us. And Risen's oh, the ones with blue fingernails and eyes. And she's oh no, there were ordinary people in Amia. And she's oh, tell me about this. And she's look, this was a long time ago that these people came over. Anything I've heard is legends from generations later. And Risen's well, I want to hear it anyway. And so what Nick tells her, and it really makes you wonder how much of this is on target, since she has some pretty direct access to the original source materials here. But Amia fell because of the fall of the Radiance. They'd always been close to the Radiance and maybe kept too many secrets. They assumed their secrets would protect them, but when their allies fell, well, secrets can't hold swords. And apparently, like, Amia has always been uninhabitable, but they had really cool fabrials that made it into, like, this paradise. But when invaders started coming, they figured out, hey, if we destroy these fabrials, we can take all the stuff we want. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Although it makes the scouring seem like less of a violent event than the word is. Like, it always sounded to me like, oh geez, somebody just come with a dragon and burn the whole thing down. But it's like, no, we sabotaged some fabrials and it just died out.
Pretty awful for the people that are there, though.
Well, right, yeah. And then Cord shows up after Nicolay leaves to bring some stew and also try to have a conversation. And Risen is like, oh, hey, they're having trouble communicating. And Risen's like, the Horn-Eater Peaks are in Yakaved, right? And she switches to Vedden. And Cord's like, oh my gosh, you speak Vedden? Oh, this is so much better. Finally, someone who speaks a proper language. And so Cord is trying to tell Risen about the stuff that she's seen and the stuff that she knows. There are gods. We have a lot of gods. There are some that you call Spren and some that are like people, but there are some that are neither. And she says, like, she knows about the Santhid. She knows what it was. That group of gods is called the gods who sleep not. They are a swarm of creatures, but have one mind each. They're not evil, but extremely secretive. So really, Cord knows quite a bit about these things.
And Risen tries to use the whole, they hide in attics and devour the people in the houses. And she's like, what? No!
Oh, that's foolish Lowlander talk. If it was Rock, the word airsick would have been in that sentence like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, look, Cord's like, look, I know that you guys listen to these stories and think that they're just, crazy fantasies by us people living up in the mountains. But this is important. These gods guard treasures, powerful, terrible treasures. And it's like, okay. And she's like, my dad might know more. I can write to him. And then we spot a bunch of Spren in the sky, the Lux Spren. And Risen's like, what? I don't see any. And she's like, oh, you didn't know? I see all Spren. He is a gift to my family and others of my kin. And she's like, oh, so that's why the Radiance brought you. And Cord's like, well, I think also Lopen wants to impress me, maybe.
She's not impressed because she's not calling him the Lopen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's not the one and only.
But then we go back to Huio and Lopen and Rushu. And there has been a discovery. Lopen's like, he still feels bad, but I worried about this. Huio, I said to him, whenever you build a sandwich, you accidentally put the flatbread in the middle. How are you going to put back a fabrial back together? And Huio's like, is true. Middle bread tastes good.
It's like, get your fingers all wet. Doesn't make any sense.
Wet fingers taste good, Huio said.
Ew.
I think that they're just not recognizing Huio's genius in his new sandwich making techniques.
True.
This is the greatest invention ever, second only to the Bacon Witch. A sandwich with bacon instead of bread.
Can we all agree? Can we make a Sanderlanche stance that wet fingers not taste good?
I think it depends on what they're wet with. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, usually if they're wet, you don't want to taste them.
There's what is? I'm trying to think. I saw a movie or something where this exact thing, like a sandwich but with the bread on the inside.
There was a friend scene, and it was Ross. It was his Thanksgiving leftovers sandwich, and he'd call it the moist maker or something.
Oh yeah, because you put the one piece on. That's true.
Gravy soaked bread in the middle.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
You ate my sandwich?
Sandwich.
My sandwich.
And then you get stood down. Yeah.
That is a great one. That's not what I was thinking of, but that is great. I just figured it out. The movie Lightyear, which maybe nobody else saw because it wasn't very good.
Oh, we saw it,
Yeah,
but I remember very little about it.
I think I fell asleep in it.
Their weird futuristic world, one of the things is the reverse sandwich where the meat is on the outside and the bread is in the middle. It's designed to be a juicy sandwich.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the KFC sandwich where it's a piece of chicken fillet with 2 pieces with well they had 2, right? They had the sandwich that had chicken on the outside, And then they had the sandwich that was a piece of chicken with donuts on the outside.
What?
Yeah, this is
Wild.
America. This is America. They don't serve it right now, as far as I know.
We have that food truck in town that does is a grilled cheese food truck, and they do a grilled cheese with donuts as the bread.
Blech.
It's not great.
No,
It's not.
it's just like it's like hedonistically disgusting. It's like, oh, it's like it sounds so awful. I have to try it, kind of thing.
Is it more
Okay.
like a savory donut, or is it like your traditional?
I think it's a
It's
traditional
sweet donut,
glazed
yeah.
donut.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not
glazed.
even-
Oh.
It's not even like a beignet. It's just like a donut.
Yeah, I can't get behind that.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
Sorry, America.
I don't think anybody should get. I don't think anybody should get behind it.
And so while they're having this sandwich discussion, Rushu's like, guys, if you don't mind, like we have important shit.
Yeah. Another small digression, just because we're talking about sandwiches. What do you have an oddball sandwich that most people are like, ugh, and you're like, oh, I think it's good.
Vegemite sandwich.
Yeah, okay. I feel like, culturally that's like a take it or leave it thing, so I get it. Do you guys put
Yeah,
do you put cheese with your Vegemite or just Vegemite?
We grew up with Vegemite and cheese sandwiches,
Interesting.
definitely, which I can't do them anymore. I like Vegemite on toast, but not the sandwich. It's too
Yeah.
much.
What are your feelings on Marmite?
I haven't tried it out of principle.
Yeah, you're like Vegemite only for us.
It's Vegemite only.
Yeah, that's like
seen it.
that's like my wife is like refuses to eat red vines. She's like, we're a Twizzlers family.
I don't like either one. So I like to put potato chips on a sandwich sometimes, get some crunch in there.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Mhm.
somewhat normal.
Well, what do you put them with?
Usually it'll be like a ham and cheese sandwich or maybe like a club, and I'll just throw some potato chips on top and put the bread on there. Just to give it a little
Add some
little different
salt texture.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what do I feel like all my sandwich choices are somewhat normal. I've tried like some of the classics that are weird and not enjoyed them, like honey and peanut butter. Don't like that. Peanut butter banana. Don't like
I was about
that.
to say, did you try the Elvis, the peanut butter banana?
Yeah, not into that. But I've experimented. I put some like one time I made a ham sandwich and I cooked up some chicken fillet, like fried chicken tenders, and cut those up and then put them on the sandwich with the ham. And then I put some spicy barbecue sauce on there. It ended up not being good, but I tried it.
My mum used to make a beetroot relish, and so I would do beetroot relish with cheese as like a toasted sandwich. That was delicious.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, our dad's cousin makes a prickly pear that's cactus jam that's actually quite good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, if you've ever seen a prickly pear, it does have a fruit, and you can make jam out of it.
You can eat it straight. I used to do that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Cut it off and peel all of the spiky things off and eat the fruit. Anyway,
Yeah.
sandwich. Email us or comment with what your crazy sandwich
Yeah,
is.
what is your crazy sandwich?
We can
And,
have a whole discussion of that at some point.
Yeah, no, you know what we should do? Email us, listeners, your crazy sandwiches. Maybe then I could try some of your crazy sandwiches, video it, and we put that on the Patreon for people to
I
enjoy.
love
yeah.
that. That's an amazing idea. Yep.
You can come up with the official Sanderlanch sandwich.
Ooh, I like it.
Sandwich Blanche.
The
Okay, yeah.
bland witch. No, the Sander witch. The Sander witch. The Sander Lanch witch.
That sounds like the sorceress from a witch that's just a Sanderson
Well.
witch.
I can't be perfect. I'm one man.
I'm giving it all I got, Captain.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Rushu, who she's got a new idea to test out and just goes up to Rizen's chair and starts messing with it. And Rizen's like, I would prefer if you asked. No, I'm sorry. She goes, if you don't mind, and then starts doing stuff. And Rizen's like, I would prefer if you asked before doing stuff to my chair. She's like, I did ask. Ask and then wait for a reply. And Rushu's like, oh, yeah, right. Navani did warn me about how I act sometimes. It's funny because just I feel like I've known people like Rushu who are just so into what they're doing that they don't think about that kind of thing. But what we have discovered is aluminum changes the relationship between these two conjoined gems. And I like Rushu's trying to explain. It's like, I apologize. I discovered something amazing today. And Rizen's like, what, with the Santhid? What? No, I was napping during that. No, the Windrunners were playing with my stuff. And Lupin says, correction, Huio was playing. I was being the responsible cousin and making fun of him for it. It's like, right. So Huio is solely to blame for the genius discovery then. And Lupin's like, yeah, exactly. Wait, what? Genius.
Classic.
So you saw it in the way the pen changed. And she does an example here. But it's like, the pens are conjoined in a way where moving left to right copies, but now moving up and down does not copy. We have disconjoined them on one of the axes, which is revolutionary because they had no idea this sort of thing could be done. It changed, and Huio, after she starts to explain, starts to realize, like, oh my gosh, this changes everything. And Rushu's like, well, not everything, but a lot, okay? And so they can make Risen move up into the air in her chair with conjoined fabrial or with conjoined rubies, but she's no longer locked into what the other side does, going backward and forward. So she's like, get me a stick, I need a pole, and she can push herself on this other axis all she wants. And this is an amazing scientific discovery. This could have lots of implications, they're saying. And Rushu's like, a lot of science happens through accidents like this, believe it or not. And while she's talking about this, Risen is just in her chair, like, crying. Like, this is amazing. I never imagined that I could have, like, this kind of freedom again. And, like, Lopin's over here, and he walks over. He's like, hey, it feels good, right? You deserve this. And she says, how can you know that? We've only known each other a few weeks. And he goes, I'm a good judge of character. Besides, everyone deserves this. And it was it's very sweet.
Yeah, it's nice. Good guy.
Nice.
Good guy, the Lopin, you know?
And it's such a powerful moment that Rua appears for the first time to other people. And he bows to her in a very official seeming way, and then breaks into several copies who all wave at her. And Lopin's like, forgive Rua, he's a bit weird.
Yeah, he's a bit weird.
That's saying something, right?
Not the weirdest. Not the weirdest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bit weird. I'm the weirdest.
Damn it, Rua, stop impressing Cord.
Yeah, that's my job. She already thinks you're a god. I got it hard enough.
That's true. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it like that. And she realizes, like, look, this could be the beginning of a lot of advancements that would help not just her, but all of these people she talks to over Spanreed who have been sharing their own experiences, the stuff that has made their lives easier. She can pay it back. Like, this just means so much for her. And I like that Nickley is over here, like she says, I'm sorry, this may be putting you out of a job eventually. And he's like, I would love nothing better than to be put out of a job. But this seems like an important discovery for a lot of people. You should probably send the information via Spanreed just in case something happens to us. Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, I was like, well, this is dark.
It's nice that he's considerate enough to be like, look, this is a great thing for lots of people. Let's not lose this when I murder you all.
Yeah, when I kill all of you, we wouldn't want our information to get lost, would we?
Wait, can we back up a bit there? Back up about what?
What I didn't say
the part about murdering us? It's like, what are you talking about?
I didn't say that. I said I would murder you. I mean, help you.
It's like, damn it, I did it again.
Why are you winking when you say these things?
It's just a nervous tick.
I just got a tick. Hey, look, don't make fun of me. I feel bad about it.
It's like just one random like Kremling in his swarm is like is just saying that part, and the rest of them are trying to shut him up. It's like what's the bit with like Zoidberg's cousin like buds off and it's like he always wanted to be the center of attention.
Oh boy. Oh, Nickley. Or whatever.
But we end the chapter with Nickley trying to drop a few more nuggets of distrust. Where it's like, I overheard that Horn-Eater saying some stuff. Which really, the way he keeps being like that Horn-Eater feels very racist. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that she's seeing through him, and that's like we're gonna see that play out, because it's like he keeps saying stuff like that. He keeps saying stuff with like really no basis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just him sowing seeds of discord.
And Nickley ends with like, if I could bring you proof that the Horn Eater has ill will towards us. Would that help you see that something is wrong here? And Rizen's like, I mean, yeah, okay. And
Seem
she's
real
thinking,
stuck
like,
on this.
why is Nick Lee like so worried about this? Why would Cord is with the Radiants? Why would one of them be trying to undermine this when Navani, like their boss, basically is the one who sent us here in the first place? It doesn't really make sense unless they're more divided than they seem, or unless ... And then we get her suspicion was piqued. Get me your proof, and then and don't tell anyone else about this. And that's where
maybe the or unless is her being like, it's Nick Lee.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It could be. To me, it was just like she came up with another idea about what was going on. It could be Nick Lee, could be a lot of things, really. But we shall see.
Duff Man says a lot of things.
Brings us right into predicaments. So where are we going? What's going to happen next? What do you guys think? How is this going to turn out?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some kind of like Jacques moment with Nick Lee giving evidence, and I hope that she's already seen through it at this point, and she's just going to kind of turn that around. If Nick Lee's then exposed, which is maybe what I'm thinking, how does that affect the rest of the voyage? Are they going to turn back from the island? Or are they going to have a conversation with Nick Lee and Nick Lee basically tell them like, this is why we don't want you to go there? And then they'll be like, you know what? That's fair. But can you help out my friend Cheery Cheery? And maybe Nick Lee has like the way to figure out how to do that. So maybe it'll end like kind of on a happy note, and we'll have some kind of, maybe this novella basically sets up some kind of, somewhat tenuous, like good relationship with the rest of these sleepless people. But that's kind of where my head's leaning on this one. I'm just, we're getting a lot of answers in a quick pace because of the length of this story. So I'm just excited to keep reading and get to the rest.
Yeah, if we could set up a positive relationship with the Sleepless, they would be some pretty good allies to have, probably, even just from an information gathering perspective.
Yeah, unless they're like attached to an Unmade or something.
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
Although I guess we've already encountered Unmade that's not necessarily like bad, just more of like forced into servitude.
Yeah, that's the impression that we've been given anyway. Yeah, we don't know how much we can trust them.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to say, we're doing about how many chapters we're doing for next time. That might be important. No, we're doing 7 chapters for next time. So 10 through 16. Pretty good number of chapters, but they're mostly shorter chapters. So it's not like a giant section of reading compared to what else we've done. But yeah, so good thoughts. Like I said, I for one would, if we've started this war against the Voidbringers or whatever.
Yeah,
it would be nice to get some more power on our side, on the side of the good guys, as it were. If you can even consider us good guys at this point, given that what we found out about, who the original Voidbringers are and who originally owned this planet and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's a weird one.
For sure. Yeah, it all just has to be more complicated.
Yeah.
Ooh. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? So I think, I'm hoping in the next set of chapters we actually make it to the island. I reckon we're going to have another discussion with all the crab people, swarms. I feel like Nick Lee is the one swarm definitely in the position to be making the call about what's happening with the humans at the moment. But I don't know how quickly they could get another swarm in to potentially ruin those plans. I think we'll get to the island, uncover some secrets, whatever they are. I couldn't even speculate what they've got secrets in there at the moment. Maybe they've already got a hold of the Oath Gate and are blocking the Oath Gate or something, rather than it being still locked away. Or I don't know. They've tried to get the Radiants in there a couple of times by the sounds of it, and it's not been successful. So they definitely don't want the Radiants there, if not other people. But it doesn't sound like they want anyone there at all. Maybe what they're learning with the Fabrials, maybe Nick Lee will see an opportunity to fix what went wrong. Maybe they can make the land habitable again and sort of restore a little bit. It's been a long time. I don't think anyone around would really, well, they might remember, but yeah, no one's lived in that sort of environment for a long time. So maybe they can do some good there, which buys the good credit to build a positive relationship for them going forward in the next books. I'm really hoping that Risen is seeing that something's not right. I don't know if someone came up to me, it's like, by the way, do you know they're saying this? Do you know, like, I don't know that I'd really trust that either. So I'm hoping that she's smart enough that she can kind of see through some of these things, or maybe in classic Jamie prediction style, hope someone has a conversation. Cord and Risen have at least had some discussions, or a discussion now, and then Cord came up with, be like, hey, I've seen these sleepless before, like this is what that was. So I don't know, I feel like there's a bit of trust building there anyway. I'm hoping she can see that something's not right. Yeah, I'd like to see a positive relationship built between the races, cultures. That would be good moving forward, but how it all wraps up, I don't know yet. The shorter books, I feel, they're almost harder to get a grasp on what's going on. For me, anyway. Some people manage to hit the nail on the head, but
Well, it all goes by so much faster, so you have less time to kind of build up to it. A really interesting idea, though, about we're learning all this Fabrial stuff. Maybe that could affect we could fix the Fabrials. If you could suddenly make a bunch of new habitable land, that would be kind of a big deal. You're right, it might win you a lot of goodwill from some people.
Yes, maybe we shouldn't kill them.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
Maybe.
nice? It's like a Lex Luthor thing. Land is the one thing they're not making any more of. If we could do that, it would be very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any grand predictions for this week. I'm really banking on at the end there. I'm hoping Risen has figured it out and that Nickley is not, I don't think I doubt she's figured out that he is a sleepless, but he's definitely connected to the negative stuff going on. I feel like that conversation with Cord has really just given Risen some perspective. And so it's like, nah, you can't just keep blaming her for everything, Nickley. There's something else going on. But yeah, I really don't know what else to expect beyond that, because the one glimpse we had of Amia before this kind of ended pretty badly. They've still got to get around like all those rocks and stuff, because that's what Smoke Girl was. She was turning the rocks into smoke so the boats could get through. That's what happened.
Yep.
So I don't know how they're going to get through that unless somehow Lopen and Huio can lash the boat up and lift it over them or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, this is just a fun little story, and I'm enjoying seeing where it's going. So I don't have a grand prediction this week.
Well, fair enough. You're right that we're going to have to find a way to get there when we get there. Maybe they can lash it. That would be a convenient way.
Yeah,
we know that Radiants have had problems with their powers when they get around there. So
I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, actually, Lopen has a shard blade now, doesn't he? Like is he up to that point yet?
He said the second oath. I don't think he's up to that point yet, because we saw him do like I will protect those who can't protect themselves at the end of the last book, but it wasn't until Kaladin was protecting Elokar and was like, I'll protect even the ones that I hate, that he got his blade, I think.
Yeah, okay.
So if it's always the same, then I think Lopen is one short.
Yeah, okay. You know what? Here's a wild prediction for you. They need to get around those spires, but it's like a shard blade could cut them, and they realize these Radiants don't have shard blades yet. And then Huio's like, actually, and just pulls out a shard blade and cuts through. And Lopen's like, what?
That would be awesome.
And then Cord just goes, now that's a man. And Lopen's like, no!
Oh, that would be amazing. I want this now.
Yep.
A Huio Cord romance starts off. I'd be okay with that.
Yep.
Oh, but speaking of Cord, you actually made a really good point that now Risen has had a conversation with Cord, like actually a pretty in-depth conversation. It's much harder for someone to be turning you against this person, or I should say it's much easier to be suspicious of someone who can't communicate very well, who you can't talk to really, than it is now that they've had a conversation and she's like, I've gotten to know her a little bit. It's much harder to, I feel like, develop that suspicion by a third person if in that case.
Yeah. It's like the language barrier isn't actually the obstacle that Nickley may have thought it was. So it's like, she's not such an easy target anymore.
Yeah, Nickley was gone when they had the conversation, so he may not even know that.
Well, Well, like that, like right before you started talking, it's like, "Hey, you were talking to the Horn Eater. What'd she say? What'd she do?"
Yeah, it
It's
was
true.
very like, what were you talking about?
So yeah. I feel like if you guys or I and Joe had the main theory, but if you're right that maybe she's suspicious of Nickley now, then I feel like that conversation might have gone much differently if Risen had not had that conversation with Cord first. But I don't know.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's do a couple of emails and then we'll wrap up. All right, this one is from Bartage, and it says, thoughts after 5.5 years of listening. Hello, Dak, Data, Jamie, and Joe. I've been thinking about writing in for quite some time now, years actually, and now finally got around to it. I have to say that over the last 5 years, your podcast has been the highlight of every Monday. For that, you have my heartfelt thanks. My adventure with Sanderson's writing started with The Way of Kings in 2015. Ever since, I've implored my friends to try his books, but to mostly no avail. I wanted to have someone to theorize with, and your podcast has filled that need quite well, even if it was vicarious. I love hearing your theories and little details that you spot at times. One of the other highlights are the constant references you make to other media. I never watched a single episode of Futurama or The Simpsons, and many other references you make are lost on me. Your sudden tangents into those shows are surreal and often amusing, especially since I have no idea what you are saying or referencing. One of the other things that I got from your reading is how much translation choices can impact the reading of a book. The biggest example I can think of is I Know Why You're Sad, which in the translation I experienced read more like I know what is heavy on your conscience, which made it sound a lot less creepy.
Yes.
That is a fucking hard line.
Yeah, that is a way different sentiment. It's like, hey, I know what's weighing heavily on your mind. Like that's maybe a little forward
A little bit forward,
and a little familiar, but
someone you've
not
never met.
yeah, but not saying I know why you're sad.
It implies a much grander depth of wisdom.
It does. You're not wrong.
Yes.
It continues. I wonder how many people have wildly different opinions on certain characters influenced by the translation choices. The last thing I wanted to touch on is a recommendation. Data mentioned reading The Color of Magic in the latest episode as of me sending this email and not quite liking it. From my experience, Pratchett's writing style was still growing in the early books, so starting with the first one is not usually recommended. I would recommend starting with Guards, or The We Free Men, the latter being similar in style and humor to Tress of the Emerald Sea. There's also a rather helpful reading order image on the English Wikipedia for Discworld, which I've attached alongside this screenshot of my Spotify review. All the best from Poland, from Bartosz. So that's another. A lot of people seem to say that Guards is a great place to start. I'm very tempted to throw that onto my list, and when I get there, reading that. I've just started reading the new Dresden Files novella, which doesn't technically come out until Tuesday, but was released in a lot of bookshops early, and I went to a couple here in town and found a copy of it. So
neat.
That's what I'm currently reading, Outlaw. But yes, they did attach a 5-star Spotify review. So get your list out, Joe.
All right. Bartosz, thank you for your 5-star review. Since you've made me think slightly differently, at least about different translations of Spook, although I would guess that maybe the original translators are like, I know why you're sad. That's creepy. Let's change it to this.
The translator's like, here, let me editorialize a little bit here.
Yeah, let me take the creep. Let me take the creep factor out of this. I'm going to give you a tin eye. You're wuzzing with the burn.
Nice. All right. Yeah, thank you. The next email also has a 5-star Spotify review attached, so get ready for this. This one is from Austin, and it's called Reviews and Stuff. Hey, Sanderlanche crew. I started my trip through the Cosmere with all the Mistborn books and then Stormlight. After finding your podcast, I read Elantris, White Sand, and the material from Arcanum Unbounded. Just wanted to say thanks for providing me with a reading order as well as all the great content. I'm listening to the Way of Kings episodes now and catching up. I haven't heard the episode where you call out my shard status on Patreon, but here's a Spotify review. Thanks, everyone. Wuzzing to the time of next. Crab at thee from Austin. And there is a review attached.
Oh, Austin. That's great, man. I don't know what shard power I gave you either. I don't keep track of these things. That's for you to do. So I can't guarantee that I'm going to make you Twinborn, but here we go. Let's or at least not a super one or whatever. What do they call the special Twinborns with the extra powers? Like the double,
the one that's the double
compounding power.
Compounders.
Oh, they're just called compounders.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we read that stuff. You, sir, can be a soother.
Nice. All right. The next email is from Sasha. The title
Baron
says
Cohen?
no. The title says how does Rena make Hoyd an Elantrian? There's been a theory out there since the Irie debuted that they were the ones who originally created the city of Atlantis, Jesus, of Elantris and or the Sheod spell. With the ending of Tress, I am more convinced than ever that this is the case. Rena can invite someone else into the Elantrian Club because she and her buddies founded the club in the first place. As for what's she doing on Lumar, given how petty and egotistical the sorceress is, I can believe that she moved to a backwater planet simply because she'd be the big fish in a small pond and could lord it over the natives with no one more powerful to interfere or care about. As Hoyt says, she didn't realize there was a dragon. But now that you've brought it up, I'm going to have to start thinking more about it. Thanks for giving me something to chew on. Closing to the time of next. Colo, from Sasha. P.S. Since it came up this week, let me share an example of Huck foreshadowing that I only noticed this read around. Huck talks about the deaf woman he once met who was the best dancer under the moons. This is almost certainly the princess that Charlie threw up on, because you may remember she was deaf. I had never made that connection either, but I could totally see that being the case. So that's very cool, Sasha. Thank you.
Also, burn on Tress. She's not the best dancer.
I don't know that Charlie ever saw her dance. Did we ever see her dance? Maybe Tress doesn't dance.
She does.
It's
I
like
don't
that
dance.
Frank Sinatra song.
Yeah. I don't dance. Don't ask me.
I won't dance. It's a good song. Anyway.
Madam, with you.
We've got a few more emails, but we'll save those moving forward. Actually, hold on. You know what? We've got time. Let's do one more. Why not? This is from Bomo, and it is titled, Why I Hated Tress. Hi, Sanderlange crew. Bomo here again. So first of all, hate is an exaggeration. I've reread Tress like all Sanderson books, and I think it's fine, but certainly not the standards I expect from him. If another author had written it, I probably wouldn't be interested in reading more of his work. 1. Hoyd's narration. You've already discussed this, but it bears repeating that it wasn't the best. To me, the awful modern moment was when Hoyd started talking about racist uncles. Like, come on, that only became a cultural cliche like 15 years ago. Number 2, Tress doesn't beat the sorceress. I know the book does a decent job setting it up, so I can't complain that much, but it still seems like, in the end, she was about to lose and got lucky with some magical intervention from Hoyd out of practically nowhere. If Hoyd isn't in the story, Tress dies. She doesn't even confirm Hoyd is capable of this until the end of the book. And even there, it's mostly luck and guesswork. She's a pawn in a bigger game than herself, but we get no sense of the bigger game in the book. I don't even know if she qualifies as a pawn in a bigger game, personally, except like she was lucky enough to be around when the bigger game was being played and to end up in there a bit. Sorry, number 3, too predictable. I know this will fall on deaf ears to you, but when I read the book for the first time, I instantly knew that Huck was Charlie. By instantly, I mean before Tress got onto the Crow's song. As the book went on, nothing made me waver from my conviction until fake Charlie stepped out of the room. After I finished the book, I took a Reddit poll to confirm that it was obvious. To my shock, only about 12.5% said that it was obvious, but at least half had their suspicions. Regardless, I'm surprised you three, who are forced to make predicaments regularly, were so oblivious. Data practically needed to beat it out of you. Maybe it was obvious because I'm used to Sanderson, or because I knew beforehand the book was inspired by The Princess Bride. Either way, it makes it enjoying the book a lot harder. Still a cute read, cool magic system, and tremendous artwork, but I'd never recommend it as a starting point. And they did in fact include a screenshot of this poll from 3 years ago, where out of 421 responses, 52 people said they knew immediately it was Huck. 145 said, I suspected, but was not positive. And then 224, which I believe that is more than half in this situation, say they did not know until it was revealed.
Yeah, sometimes you just tweak to things and sometimes you don't. It happens.
Yeah, that's fair. So I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it, Bomo. I get some of your complaints for sure, and we have talked about some of them on here. I don't necessarily agree. I quite like Tress. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah. To say the background character in a larger game to me is a little, I feel like is a little not correct, only because, when you compare it to a story like The Princess Bride, but I feel like people forget there's a whole larger plot going on in the background of The Princess Bride that involves the death of Buttercup, kidnapping/death. Like, the main story is the love story and like these two people trying to go on an adventure, find each other or whatever. But there's a whole thing with like the war that's going on, which you could argue is a bigger game going on in the background, but it's not the focus of the story. And I think that's similar with Tress. Like, the focus of the story is Tress and her trying to find Charlie, and then realizing like, oh, Charlie's been here all this time. But like the bigger game going on in the background exists, but it's not the focus of the story for sure.
I'm trying to think if there's a comparison point there, because Bomo's right that Hoyd shows up and magics the problem away essentially,
Right.
and
Yeah.
there's some foreshadowing about him getting out of his curse and stuff, but nothing about that tells you, oh, and he can like undo the sorceress's magic or anything. So it does come maybe a little bit out of nowhere. And so I was trying to think, is there a comparison in the Princess Bride to that? And I guess like maybe Miracle Max, because Wesley dies.
Yes, he's dead.
Yeah, he is dead. And so it's like, oh, geez, all right. And then no,
it doesn't come at the end of the story, right? So it's not a Deus Ex Machina in that sense of like coming at the end of the story, but it does like basically completely come out of nowhere. His name is Miracle Max, for Pete's sake. It's like he's creating something that should not happen.
So yeah, okay, maybe. Anyway, I get the complaints. Don't necessarily agree with them, but hey, to each their own. That's why we're doing this. Everyone's got different opinions on stuff. It's interesting to hear. So we appreciate the email, Bomo.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If anyone wants to send us an email, the address is thesanderlanch@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice, send us a picture of that like some folks did, and Joe will assign you a misting power. And if you want to join our Patreon, where as of our recording of this, I just posted the first 3 chapters of Moment Zero, the novella that was in Tailored Realities, as I have started to read that. So if you're interested in hearing that, somebody in the Discord was like, oh, geez, you're doing that now? That means I'm going to have to finally buy that book. And I'm like, yeah, you could. Or I guess you could just listen to me talk about it without ever reading the story, and maybe that'll be a different kind of interesting. But if you're interested in that stuff, check out our Patreon. And if you join the Patreon, Joe will assign you a fairing power, so that if you do both of those things, you could be a Twinborn. Also find us on Instagram and Facebook and places like that on the interwebs. We are out there doing stuff. Remember, for next time, we are doing 7 chapters 10 through 16. So if you're following along, read those chapters in Dawnshard, and that will pull us into pretty running right up towards the end, since there's only 2 episodes of this left for us. And like I said, we're going to do 2 more episodes of Dawnshard. We're going to have our Stormlight review via trivia contest, and then we will be moving right into Rhythm of War. So get ready for all of that, y'all. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun on a bun. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. 7 chapters for next time. Music by Miracle of Sound. And Wuzzing to the time of next. Colo, P.S. Vasher. Crabs ahoy! To the cups! I remember that one. Ha ha!
The way I am, I don't wanna feel. Tell me, was it worth it? 'Cause I don't give a damn. I don't wanna feel. Tell me that I'm perfect, just the way I am. Na, 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 na.
Just a reminder, you've been listening to the Sanderlanch podcast.